What's up, everybody? Welcome back, everyone. I am here, I am live, and I've got Brad Chester with me. Brad, how you doing today, sir?
Magical.
Magical. It's the only thing I could ask for. We are here for an episode of Hot Topics, where we, who we consider to be top players ourselves, discuss some of the hottest questions of the game. But those questions are not something that we come up with ourselves. They're in fact brought to us by you, the community. So, you ready for this one, Brad? You excited for today?
For today, I've got doctors that played me at tournaments trying to murder me by getting COVID, though.
Oh,
So, but
wow.
I hope you are feeling much better, brother. All jokes aside, I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah. Ooh, Brad's deceptively tall next to a Hearthkin warrior. Joshua Ford, he was actually standing on top of a Hearthkin warrior at that point.
It was actually two Hearthkin warriors and myself in a trench coat trying to get into the movie.
Ah! So, before we kick this one off, I'm just going to tell you what exactly we're doing here, just in case this is your first time tuning in with us. What we're doing is Brad and I are answering a bunch of questions brought to us by the community. Where we get those questions is from the Art of War Discord. So, if you are wondering, how do I get my questions in the Art of War Discord? Well, you got to get yourself there first. And the best way to do that is to, join the Discord. You can do that by becoming a member of our YouTube community. You can find some links right below. Or by going to our website, theartofwar40k.com, and becoming a member of the War Room. There you can actually get a discount code for 50% off your first month of the War Room, which is join our community. So make sure you check that out. The Art of War Discord is a wonderful place to be. It's where people like myself, Brad, Nick Donavati, Jack, Richard, so many other people are just hanging out, helping you become a better version of the 40k player you want to be. And it's a wonderful global community full of friendly and like-minded people. The second way to get your questions answered on the show is with a big, shiny super chat. Speaking of, Seven Never Dies has hit us up with one right now. Thank you so much.
But what is that unit of money? I need to know now. Is that Narnia money?
Uh,
I need to know.
Brad, what are you doing, man?
I mean, I'm from America. I clearly am dumb, and I have a map that has most of the other countries with just
All right,
dragons and stuff. I'm
well,
like, ah.
that's a South African rand because I just Googled it. Um,
Google.
yeah, I'm not going to claim that I knew that one off the bat, but we still have a question from Seven Never Dies that we've got to answer. So, first of all, thank you so much for your support, Seven. We really appreciate that. It is literally what helps us keep this channel going. How on earth do I make Imperial Knights work in a meta full of big guns like Votann, Multi-Meltas, Dark Lances, etc.? I keep getting tabled. Sad. So, my take on this is that Knights have to take as much defense as possible, which means that you need to be using those bondsman abilities and try to protect your big boy if you can. But I mainly mean that by I'm trying to give that 4-up invuln via the bondsman ability to as many armigers as possible. So if you see something like the Freeblade Lance list that has I believe it's Brad, do you remember what upgrade the Questoris Knight takes that gives out a 4-up invuln?
I just assume it's there. That's what I do.
Shoot,
When I look at
I
my
think it's
favorites.
Herald. I think it's Herald. So look, I apologize if I'm getting the word wrong. But I believe that the Imperialis upgrade for Herald, I know it's Imperialis, lets you give an Armiger a 4-up invuln with its Bondsman Oath. That and the Helm Dominatus lets you keep the 4-up invulns. And so I've tried to survive this by giving out the 4-up invuln to as many people as possible, trying to kind of stack that up before I make a push into the teeth of my enemy's guns. And then, when in doubt, target their guns with your guns with extreme prejudice. Just try to knock out their heavy weapons as much as possible. It's harder than ever.
Good.
Yeah, it is getting harder, frankly, to be a big boy in this current meta, especially with Guard coming out, but I still think that it works. I think that we actually had a game in the War Room about 2 weeks ago where we did Votann into Imperial Knights, and specifically the worst version of Votann, which is triple land fort. And we talked about how to make that game playable. It is not easy, but there's still something you can do.
The thing is also is don't just push your army out. I see too many knight players go, oh, I'm big, I'm always going to be seen. No, you're not. Have lots of small knights. Use your terrain. Pick your targets. A lot of times, don't overcommit. Commit to one side or the other. Only shoot things that you can put down and try to screen as much as possible with the terrain, which a lot of times will keep you alive a lot longer if they can only shoot one of their land forts at you, if they can only shoot part of their army back at you because you've picked up a couple things. Don't be everywhere. If you can be seen in this edition, you can be killed, which knights, of course, are hard to hide, but you can use the terrain to at least not have everything be able to focus fire, pick something up, focus fire, pick something up. So it's important to pick up your targets and use that terrain to only be seen by a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we've got a chat from Lou in the chat. Thank you so much. Lou's been a member for 23 months. That is an incredible amount of time, and that means you're 1 month away from 2 years. Lou, we really appreciate your continued support. It really, really does help us out. Lou says that a knight hit me for 41 mortal wounds at an event this past weekend. Shoot them first.
Calculated targeting.
Calculated targeting is a hell of a drug. But to Seven's original question, I'd very much recommend looking at the Freeblade Lance. I think that's the most durable way to build knights right now. Just to get that 4-up invuln all over the place. Or Tyrannus is also pretty durable though if you like going pure. All right, Brad, are you ready to dive into the Discord? Are you ready to dive deep?
Deep dive?
Deep dive. I mean, we do have our main topic today, but we're gonna wait a couple more minutes on that just to let everyone else join in the video. Still, we like to do it a couple minutes in so that everyone has time to get in and catch it live. All right, Brad.
I'm ready.
Pull it from the wall. Hit me.
Pull it from the wall.
Yeah.
There's stuff, man. There's so much stuff.
I clearly caught Brad when he was unprepared. This is fun.
No, I was going to go immediately with our COVID doctor over here. Oh, what heinous backhanded tactics do I use to beat Brad when I play him for the third time?
I find that the secret to beating Brad Chester is to actually just let someone else do it. Brad and I don't play much in tournaments anymore. It makes me sad. I say anymore. I think we've only played like twice in a tournament.
We play next to each other all the time.
That is true. I often observe Brad's games while my opponent's doing their movement phase. Brad and I don't think we've played since LVO 2020 in a tournament.
The easiest way you could literally get me to burn all of my clock by just asking me to tell stories about anything because I'm easily distracted and I like to talk.
Yeah, tap the clock to Brad and then ask him, "Hey, is it true that you're taller than Thomas Bird?" And just let it go.
Indeed, I am. And here's the top 10 reasons why.
Mm-hmm. All right, Micah McComb is hitting us up with a super chat. Thank you, Micah. We really appreciate that. What kind of Genestealer cult changes do you predict in January? So I there's what I predict and what I want. And what I want for Genestealer cult is, how they kind of buffed WoG? I really want them to buff Crossfire to give it some kind of melee buff. Because I really hate that Genestealer cult's mono faction buff does nothing to help close combat. And you can use it for stratagems, which is cool, but you can't get any extra damage out of their mono faction buff. And that always felt wrong to me because I really want Genestealer cult to go back to being a punchy army. So I would love it if they were oh yeah, +1 attack against people with Crossfire tokens, or +1 to wound in combat if you if you outnumber them or something.
I wish they had better. The book factions were a little bit more focused. They seemed like they gave them just random buffs to play each one.
My prediction, though, is that they're going to decrease the cost of upgrades across the board. Kind of like how Death Guard got free weapons on Plague Marines, or Brick Marines got free most of their war gear. I would be willing to bet that Neophytes get a lot of their guns for free, but then Seismic Cannons cheaper. And then Acolytes get hand flamers and stuff for free, and then a little bit cheaper on drills and things like that. The big kind of like Rubric Marines, where the big upgrades went to half their cost and the little upgrades went to free. That's kind of what I'm guessing.
That would actually do a lot, to tell you the truth.
That would be terrifying. I really don't want Seismic Cannon spam to be the move.
Oh, I'm just thinking about if you did something like that, that's might be up to 300 points of free stuff in a typical list right now if you did something like that.
Fully agreed. And I don't actually want that. I feel like Genestealer Cult has the right amount of stuff right now. I just want... I have full bias here as an old Genestealer Cult player who doesn't like infantry spam with guns. And that is, I just want them to hit harder in combat. It's all I want. How can Crossfire tokens not get anything good in melee?
Make you fight last?
I get it, but please, I would like to hit harder. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
All right, let's dive right into it then. Oh, no, hold on, I'm sorry. Tim G has been a member for 4 months. Thank you so much, Tim G. Brad, you know where I'm going with this, right? You have to kill a faction. All codexes, rules, and models gone forever. Who do you kill?
You're such an elf hater.
Brad, I didn't even say a word. I didn't
I
say
I
elf.
already I already feel it though. I
I
feel that the hatred coming off you.
I wasn't even gonna say that. Wasn't even gonna say it.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
No, no, like genuinely, like I wasn't even gonna say elves. You know why, Brad? Because I like killing elves, and I don't want that gone from my life. No, no,
What are you
no.
going? What are you going with?
So like serious answer, it would actually be Yanari, because GW doesn't know what they want to do with them, and I don't, and like no one would miss them. The soft answer there, is like Votan, because I think it would be absolutely hilarious. Like it's one thing.
You want me to go 20 years without a faction and then immediately kill them as soon as they come back?
Would that not be the funniest thing in the world if in like they announce 10th edition and then they're like, and also Age of Votan, and they just launch a mini game for the Votan models and you can't use them in Warhammer anymore. They like give them 30k rules because like they got sucked into the warp and went back in time. And it's like, yeah, sorry, you can't use them in 40k anymore, but hey, you have a new Horus Heresy army, you want to buy the rulebook? Like that would be the absolute trolliest possible thing they could do. Is to squat Votan now.
That's brutal. My people would be upset.
Yeah, no, that you would, and you deserve it, Brad. Short
I don't
kills.
have a faction to kill, but I'd like to kill unit types.
Flyers.
I'm gonna kill flyers. I'm gonna kill flyers and indirect.
Okay.
I hate them so much. Actually, I don't hate indirect as much. I hate mass indirect.
Yeah, a little bit of indirect's like honestly not even the worst. I think Chaos Knights have the right level of indirect.
Artillery should be O1. There you go.
Yeah, make the cure or something.
Fight me.
No, no, I'm like pretty down for that, honestly. Like just one artillery piece. Yeah. Short people in air quotes. Exactly. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Tyrannosaurus Rex, if a person is shorter than your arms, are they even a person?
I mean, I'm significantly less than most people's arms. Aw.
Oh.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
taller than my T-Rex arms, though. I think my arms laid out are like a foot shorter than me. They're so short,
Oh no.
like little stubs.
All right. So let's hit back to the wall.
I thought that conversation was going somewhere good.
Yeah, yeah. Like I can like make fun of Votan for a while, but like Brad, I have a soft spot for you, so I'm not gonna rub it in too much. One day you'll notice that you are the Votan. When are you gonna play Votan, by the way?
I want to play only Zergs instead. They don't. They have a Psyker, which pisses me off.
You can just not take a Psyker though.
I know, but I know that he's there.
But like you use Psykers all the time.
Yeah, but not in my dwarves.
It's because you don't play dwarves yet, but now you do.
I mean, I have fantasy dwarves. I have a Blood Bowl dwarf team.
Yeah. I am kind of surprised that they didn't make the Grimnir like a chaplain mechanic.
Yeah.
Because like Votan
Also-
don't have a chaplain mechanic, right?
Also, why do we keep calling him Votan? I have a box. I literally have a box from back in the day that says Space Dwarfs.
Are you gonna use like old school Space Dwarf models for a Votan army? Because that'd be cool.
I have some. I mean, they're old. I might have the actual box. I was looking for it. I couldn't find it the other day. But like, I had a box when they literally were called Space Dwarfs.
I like can't keep like my face straight long enough to like ask you if you're gonna paint them up that way. But like, are you gonna?
I'm all over it, buddy.
Someone else gonna paint them up that way for you so you can borrow them, break a couple arms off.
So much. I tried to paint them. I painted one model.
I would let's see. We've got some chatter in the chat about artillery. That would be kind of cool. What if you could like take one artillery unit without the Master of Ordnance? Like if you have the Master of Ordnance, I actually really wish the Master of Ordnance like picked a unit in the command phase and let it ignore the indirect penalty. Feel like that would have been like actually kind of cool.
If you made artillery stuff 101, you wouldn't have to have nerfs on it. It would just fire as normal.
Yeah.
We
Like,
wouldn't have weird rules on it. It would just be a piece that you shot.
but what if the Master of Ordnance told a guy to ignore the penalty? That would be cool.
I mean that does work.
Yeah, like at that point it's
the
like
thing
40
is
points
that
to do that. Like
artillery and air support are huge parts of a battle, but they're bad parts in a skirmish game. So,
You just have to both bring artillery and air support, Brad. The game is
and then we're
actually
just playing Aeronautica.
yes, our aeronautica with basilisks, and also I'm shooting my basilisk at your planes.
Yes. Screw it. Let's fire some artillery up in the air and just
Woo!
see what happens.
That's the way to do it. All right, let's let's hit up some questions in the chat. First up, one is I don't think that we answered last week, but this is from Laney, and he asked it during last week's stream, so I think we missed it. And that is, what factions make an 8-man team if you're going to a tournament this weekend?
WTC terrain, I'm assuming.
Yeah. If we're going to 8-man team, we might as well just assume this is WTC format.
Guard Votan Tau.
Okay,
Tyranids.
great start. Yep, love that. So that's
There's
4.
There's my 4. You're in charge of the other 4.
Okay.
I take all the easy ones. You figure out the last part of the team.
Super proud of you for that one, Brad. I would go T-Suns and Flamer combo.
Which will never make the team.
No,
by the time the team comes. That's true. We're saying this
true.
weekend.
Chaos Space Marines pure. Harlequins, Necrons.
I would say Chaos Space Marines, Emperor's Children.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like Chaos Space Marines, no allies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. Like T-Suns and Flamers seems to be like the winning combo.
Yeah, that's disgusting right now. I just assume it's going to be destroyed soon.
I am so ready for that to be gone. But yeah, that actually, God, that sounds like a really stupid 8-man team.
Yeah.
That sounds really like gross. I'm like low-key wondering if Votan would actually make the top 8 for me.
On those tables, they will, I feel. Because you can defend
Possibly.
them. You can literally put them out and just say, I take an empty table. Mm-hmm. You're about to get shot.
Yeah. That's Mike is making a good point that Sisters didn't make my top 8 there. See, that's where I think I'd rather have Sisters. Harlequins were 100% on there, Tim G. Harlequins were in there. Like I feel like it'd be like Sisters versus Votan. What does the team need? Like, do we need a third army that like shoots people when it goes first?
Kind of. I'm gonna high roll people.
Godspeed, Brad. Yeah, no, Votan on an open board doesn't sound like super fun for literally anyone.
Plus, they can go out as a different defender.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can go out as second or third defender and basically still have, as per the current table sets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or if you're playing on UKTC terrain, you know what I mean? You're just like, well, I'm about to shoot some of your stuff. That's happening.
Yeah,
accept it and move on.
No real way.
Move to hit the 5 stages of grief. You need to move to acceptance because this is about to happen for you momentarily.
Nurgle Matt saying that he is putting the Mark of Nurgle on his Leagues of Votan. Chaos Corrupted Leagues of Votan could actually be kind of cool.
Nice.
I imagine them looking like the Corrupted Terrans in StarCraft.
God, imagine League of Votan with Mark and Nurgle buffs, -1 damage.
Sure, Brad. Okay. Why not? I mean,
well, he said he's putting Nurgle on it. That's what I just started to think.
Yeah. Terrible.
Those bikes get scary.
The bikes do be scary. All right, let's hit the main topic, Brad, shall we?
I'm on it.
All right, so the main topic here, we're at the end of 9th edition. I think we all know it. The writing's on the wall. The rumor mill for 10th, and we don't actually know that 10th is coming, but the rumor mill is pretty hot and heavy for 10th edition right now. And usually when GW stops releasing codexes and start releasing like a list of campaign books, you kind of know. Like 7th edition ended with the Fall of Cadia going into
Gathering Storm.
Yeah, Gathering Storm, that was it. Like they did like a 3-part campaign with Gathering Storm. And
every book was more busted than the last.
It's absolutely true. No. Genuinely, the first one was the most busted. That was the one that had Ynnari in it, right? Or was Ynnari in the second book?
Right, in the second, we had the first one had all the weird psychic powers and the reroll your armor save, and then we had the one where you could pick pieces of terrain and move them.
That was
and then
terrible.
Flip flop a unit,
Mm-hmm.
So you could flip your scouts for your Death Star.
Yeah. So 7th edition ended that way. And then 8th edition ended with the Gathering Storm series, and now they're launching another like campaign series. So we're assuming 10th edition's coming soon. So with that in mind, we kind of wanted to look at what the best codex of 9th edition was. But we also wanted to look at David Roebuck's super chat, and that's taking priority here. David, thank you so much for your support. Really, really appreciate it.
Smooth transition. Look at this guy.
I'm a seasoned professional. What is the new infantry list Custodies are playing? I was unaware that Custodies were playing a new infantry list.
I saw a couple of them up. So it was just a zillion Sagittarium and regular Shield Guard.
Yeah.
And just trying to spam the board and take the objectives.
Okay. Was that is that in play at a tournament this weekend? Is there somewhere I could like find
It was
that?
a play a little while back. I saw it.
Okay. Cool.
Just a few weeks ago. It basically was a complete spam of it. It was basically just completely trying to dominate the board.
Did it have like triple Caladius and 6 Dreadnoughts too?
No. I think no Dreadnoughts, but it did have Caladius. It basically had Caladius and guys.
It's fair. Tim G asks, when editions end, do they slowly preview rules like before Codex release? Yes. If there is an edition coming this summer, we say this summer because it's always in the summer.
Every single time they've had an edition change.
Yeah, I've never seen one that doesn't come out between like May and July. Like it's always in that bracket. Like we're not making it to August. If we make it to August without 10th edition, that means we've got another year. Like,
sorry, Nergalbat goes, yeah, the Custodes infantry list I'm familiar with are 9 dreads. They have feet, so infantry.
Exactly, Nergalmat. Nergalmat is a man after my own heart. That's how I would play Custodes infantry. So, all right, jokes aside, like what it normally looks like is that they'll announce it at some point. Probably they usually announce it in like spring. So like in like if it's coming out in like May, June, July, they'll probably announce it in like March or April. So like maybe Adepticon-ish is like usually I think when they drop it.
Yeah, I mean, Mike has got a good point. He goes, fiscal year starts in July, so they usually put it out in June-ish.
Oh, fair, okay. Then yeah, okay. So maybe not July. Maybe I'm just thinking July because like maybe maybe COVID delayed 9th edition a little bit. Is that what happened?
Yeah, we had all kinds of issues in 9th edition because of COVID.
Gotcha. Okay, so that one probably got delayed from where they wanted it. All right, back to business. Let's kind of define what we're talking about when we say the best codex of 9th. And we're not trying to say what was the strongest codex on release of 9th, because the answer to that is in fact Tyranids, and I will go play that unnerved book into anyone who says otherwise.
I don't want you to do that.
No, come on, Brad. Bring me your liquefied Drukhari. Let's find out if I give a single dart about that.
Well, it doesn't matter because I get to fire my liquefiers once and then you mortal me off the board.
Yeah, you're darn right I do. Like you deserve.
I'm wounding you on 5s with metal sectors.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty fun. So, what we mean by like the best codex is what codex do we think like was like the best? Literally for me the best is like a combination of external and internal balance. It's like if I could like ideally describe the best codex, I would say it came out, it was competitive, it never needed too many nerfs, it never needed too many buffs, maybe small tweaks at some point, and then a good internal balance as well.
All of the thing.
So like, Brad, I want to hear your pitch. What do you think was the best book? And for this, I will allow you to split Craft World Eldar and Harlequins. If that's where you were going, because if you say like the Eldar book on a release, people just be like 9 Void Weavers, and we'll be like, oh right.
Yeah, I will. If you let me split it, I am going. I have 2 then, because I actually think that Craft World's an amazingly balanced book, and it had a ton of. When I think a best codex, that means that you have options. It's not just one list that you play. That's a big deal. And then 2, you have balance internally, which means that you can bring different things, and you're just not like, yeah, this is obviously the build, but you could bring this, which is the thing you could play for a win in an RTT. So I thought Craft Worlds had a lot, but my tie on that is, and it basically has one of the units that is going to get crushed. The Demon book as a whole is an actually really balanced book.
Brad, I am I am going to literally. Have you ever pictured what happens to a soul when they die? Like they get tossed into the warp, and like demons descend on them and like tear them to shreds. I'm about to do that to your take because that was awful. Demons are like the worst. Their internal balance is terrible. Have you seen a Nurgle unit? Have you seen a Slanesh unit?
I'm saying that you could bring.
No,
you know what? I might have to agree with you on this one as far as that. You can bring multiple armies, though. You can bring big guys. You can bring little guys. You know what I mean? I played multiples of them.
Yeah. You can bring either big guys with 18 flamers or little guys with 18 flamers. The choice is yours. The world is your oyster. Take Khorne and Tzeentch only and nothing else.
Well, besides the flamers, that was my asterisk caveat. But my actual answer is the craft roll.
Okay. Because Hail of Doom and Ignore Cover comboed together with like unlimited fire and fades.
Everybody has some random bullshit though.
Okay, but like some have a lot less than that.
I'm saying literally the Hail of Doom stuff, but then you have Uthway, Beal-Tan, totally playable, still played in tournaments right now.
Yeah, sure, playable. But like best Codex is one that doesn't mess up the meta when it's released.
Who didn't mess up the meta when they were released?
Oh, I've got several pitches for you for like best Codex.
I don't believe you. Bring you know what? Bring anything. Come on, I'm ready.
All right, I've got two for you.
I'm sharpening up the bows right now.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. I'm not pitching Tyranids. Tyranids were not the best Codex of 9th edition.
Yeah, they were fair and balanced. Got it. They didn't mess the meta up at all.
Okay. First up, Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights on release. One introduced new kits for the army, which was awesome. On release, they were relatively powerful, but they never messed up the meta. Chaos Knights never had a weekend where they're like, oh yeah, we took top 5 at every single event.
You took a skew army.
And it's well balanced. It hasn't gotten a nerf since it was released. It hasn't needed a buff since it was released. It's still got a pretty respectable win rate. You can still take them and do well. You see people do well with them. You don't see them dominate. Like, that's a good book. There are multiple sub-factions that are viable. There are multiple custom and named sub-factions that are viable. Like, that's what I want a book to be. I want it to come out. Like, when I read my Chaos Knight book, Brad, you know what I do? I don't go to Warhammer Community to find out what my rules actually say.
Matt, I was just talking. I love it. $5 super chat. Hates indirect spam and flyer spam, but loves craft roll down there. Defend yourself all day long, baby.
Yeah.
Elvin.
I'm not including allies in here. Yeah, Abaddon's stupid, sure. But like even then, I don't think Abaddon and Chaos Knights is actually much better than Chaos Knights, if at all. But no, like I think Chaos Knights are a really well balanced book, and like that's what I want 9th edition book to be. It comes out, it's not broken, but it still competes. It can win tournaments, but it doesn't win every tournament. It doesn't need nerfs. It doesn't need buffs. It's not like oppressive. It's fun. Like it has a lot more balance. Like especially when you compare this Chaos Knight book to what Chaos Knights were before this book. It's basically a new faction. Because old Chaos Knights didn't exist. Like,
correct. I'll give you that, but it's hard to say that because all knights are such skew in the first place. So they do so many. Yeah. They do and do not do so many things that other regular armies do. Right. They're basically give me an army that's not a complete skew in the first place. So
I don't even think Chaos Knights have to skew. I think Chaos Knights can be pretty well balanced. But tell you what, I'll give you another one that is so much better than stupid Eldar, and that is Sisters of Battle.
Why do you gotta be so hurtful on my elves?
Why you gotta be an elf? So Sisters of Battle.
Again, Sisters of Battle, super balanced. Okay, let me look at all these listed art Bloody Rose real quick.
Codex.
Wait a second. Wait, let me scroll. Scrolling. Wait, scroll. Phone set notification when any list that's not Bloody Rose is played.
Brad, tune in because I'm playing our Martyred Lady on our stream later today.
You can play around with, unless someone held a gun to your head before you walked into the tournament. If you're going to a tournament, you were playing Bloody Rose. Don't even pretend that that's not the case.
So let me give you
Martyred Lady in a tournament.
Let me fire back a little bit. Sisters have terrible internal balance, which was made worse by their supplements. Because if I'm just talking the Codex, just what's in the book.
We are drug testing the Art of Warhouse right now because John is clearly on a failed PED because that Sisters being internally balanced. The Bloody Rose faction says, what are you talking about?
So, all right, Brad. First of all, your pitch was Flamers and original Hail of Doom. So,
Look, man,
like,
I've been
get out of
wrong and
here.
I'll be wrong again. It doesn't mean that you're any less wrong.
All right. At least the Sisters book had good external balance. Let's remember the context of Sisters. Sisters came out after back-to-back Atomic Drukari. And they weren't oppressive. They were the first, like, decent book after Atomic Drukari. Oh, Adam Lane is throwing mad shade in here. Buddy, check your facts. I'm taking away your math title. But like seriously, Sisters came out after Admech and Drukari, which were like hyper broken, and then they were the first codex that didn't upset the meta. They actually gave the meta hope of like, oh gee, maybe GW will not continue to just murder the game over and over and over. Yeah, their internal balance is not great. The supplements made it worse, but they had really good external balance when they came out. And no,
give you
Celestina
that.
was never immune to damage one. That's not real. Um, yeah, rest in peace, Martyred Lady supplement at the end of the month. I don't know. I don't even understand what's happening with that.
We got to go back a little bit.
We do. We got a couple super chats.
Yeah. What armies are you both taking to LVO? Yeah. Whew. I don't know.
Yeah, lists are doing like 5 or 6 weeks, and I will not know in 5 or 6 weeks, guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm literally going down to play games with John soon just so I can figure it out.
Yeah. All jokes aside, like I still love my Tyranids, but New Guard are kind of spicy. I think Frontline Gaming has indicated that they're going to make an announcement on the Guard Codex on Saturday. So we'll find out if all the whispers and rumors and like hints of what's going to happen there are what's actually up. So we'll find out then how much Guard is allowed. Guard is something I'm considering though because I have a Guard army and Guard is strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out, right? Who'd have guessed?
Oi.
All right. Next super chat, Matto. Rip to the Martyred Lady supplement at the end of the month was a fun run. Codex Bloody Rose for life. Yeah, pour one out for a real martyr right there. So like I don't really know what GW is doing with that document because remember like they had that document. It's like yeah, all of this is valid until January of 23. And like I'm not sure if that's because they die in January of 23 or because they're gonna update the document in January of 23. Like, what if January of 23 is them being like, yep, here's an update of the document. These supplements are now valid until January 24. See you next year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, that's what I always assumed was happening. Because, like, what's the point of setting a deadline on these things? Like, yeah, well, you know, even though it's still the same edition in, you know, in like January versus February, we really wanted to just throw out these books and burn them at some point. Because I'm assuming 10th edition's not coming out in January.
Throw out these. We're having a book burning party. Let's do it.
Yeah. Not gonna cry when the veteran cohort is gone. I will cry tears of joy. And then I will laugh. Zlack Onion, this is an orc question, which means it's Brad's problem. Brad, how do you like Death Skulls competitively? Do you like Jack's current take on it?
I like Jack's current take on Death Skulls. I still don't think Death Skulls would be my 100% taker. It depends on what you want to do with them, to be honest. Death Skulls suffer from a little bit less damage than the other orcs do, but OBSEC is just big, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of OBSEC out there right now, so they don't have as much power. If you said Death Skulls earlier, I would have said yes, like a little bit earlier in the edition. But man, there's a lot more OBSEC that's coming in the last couple releases, so it's not as strong with that. But I do like, they look more like an orc army than anybody else, though, because you put bodies on the board, which is kind of what I think historically an orc list looks like. True. Is a green tide of orcs. And you can do that with Death Skulls. So I actually like that list. I put that on the table, I guess the virtual table, because I played it on TTS. But I actually really like that Death Skulls version. It can run up the score fairly quickly. It just has issues hang out, besides, of course, the War Boss with his 1-up, 4-up, and -1 to hit, or -1 to wound. That guy is a badass.
Yeah. Oh, Adam Lane saying Cult of Strife is gone. That warms my heart. It really does.
Why do you hate elves so much? Whoa!
Whoa, Michael Black is coming in with the super chat. Michael Black, thank you so much. You are incredibly generous and a hero of the Imperium and or Chaos and or the Xenos, whatever you want to be, actually. You're just a hero of Art of War. Michael Black, hitting us with a good question here. If you could rewrite one 9th edition codex, what would it be?
Necrons.
Gene Stealer cult. Necrons deserve a rewrite, 100%, because
Necrons have no flavor whatsoever, man.
Agreed.
Freaking nothing.
Yeah, Necrons. Agreed. Great. If I were a Necron player, I would say Necrons because they deserve it probably the most. However, I am not a Necron player, and if I was rewriting a codex, I would do it to serve my own selfish needs.
I'm just looking at the whole, dude. In 9th edition fluff, 8th and 9th edition fluff, Necrons play such a part. You know what I mean, with everything that's going on and the veil and the tear. I'm a fluff guy. I read all the everything basically, but they took such a big part in what's going on, and on the board, it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Necrons deserves it more than Gene Stealer cult because Gene Stealer cult are at least interesting.
Dude, they don't even. You never even play any of the actual dynasties. They have
You play the like. I cannot wait for them to like put like a in like 5 years they put like a little reference in like a lore book to the Obsec dynasty, like the Obsec dynasty was obliterated by Exterminatus when their son went supernova and Tyranids ate them. And I'll just be like, and we'll all like laugh and we'll be like, ah, yeah, we know.
It's not even an army I'd play. It's just one of those things where you'll see it in the fluff and they operate completely different than everything. Yeah. And they just don't have a flavor. In the books and stuff, if you read the fluff, it has tons of flavor. On the board, you have absolutely no dynasty flavor at all. And the army just plays such a boring game right now because you basically sit on objectives, churn up secondaries. That's just not... They play a different game of 40K than everybody else plays. Yeah. I think they need a more flavorful...
Agreed. Gene Stealer cult and Necrons, I think, have similar problems. It's just that Necrons are more boring to play. Like, both of them, you never take named cults. You only take custom cults, and there's a specific custom cult that you take every time. They both are, like, thriving off of exactly one type of build. And it's just that the Gene Stealer cult one is not as strong, but is more interesting. Space Marines need a new codex. Admech needs to be rewritten fundamentally, like top to bottom, redo what they're doing with the army. Because Admech don't work. They're either hilariously broken or whatever the heck they are right now, which is hilariously broken still. Don't forget.
I'm going to go into that, though, because Space Marines don't need a new codex. Space Marines need to not have one book that overarches all these other things.
Oh, my God.
Because... Well, it makes it too hard to balance.
I get it.
You're like, hey, I want to make Space Marine. I want to make Imperial Fist better, but every time I buff them, then Blood Angels get better. You know what I mean? They need their own.
Yeah.
More things that only come from them. Also, give them more individuality on that. A Blood Angels list shouldn't look like a Space Wolves list. Shouldn't look like a Salamanders list. You know what I mean? I want them to have their own identity as opposed to coming out of this one big book.
It's so weird to me that, like, GW was like, we're going to implement point changes based on subfaction for specifically Incubi and Scourges and nowhere else in this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're really telling me that a White Scar Van Vet and, like, a Salamander Van Vet need to be the same points? Like, come on. Like, even I, the White Scar player, will accept that.
Your melee armies, just, you know what I mean? It's so much different. And it's too hard to balance. You're like, here's your 15 subfactions. They should all be the same, right? Yep. Jesus, coming hard, man.
Michael Black, what a hero.
Well, we do have to get Doms real quick.
That is true. We got to take the super chats in order. Although Michael Black, my man,
just dropping elbows from the top ring rope.
I love it. I love to see it. So first up from Dom, how would you make Drukhari a top competitive army again? So are we trying to make them a top competitive army? Brad, this is going to be your answer. I'm afraid.
They still have play. They just need one. They need smaller vehicles. Jesus, the Raider. It's the way that we're playing right now. It's a big deal. I still think that army has a lot of play. They need to be pointed. The problem is they got just a little bit too hit, and the meta passed them by. So as they were getting their fifth nerf, because they were overtuned for a while, what happened is the Codex creep basically passed them by. So as they were taking the elevator down, the rest of the meta was going up.
Yep.
They need They need some psychic defense would be nice, to be honest. So
Oh,
they,
Drukari do?
yeah, or
Yeah.
at least psychic defense. But they have one thing, the Helm of Spite. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So hey, we're literally psychic beings that somehow don't have any way to do anything to anybody. It would be nice if they could soup it a little bit easier.
Yep.
I guess you could take traveling players, but then you end up just making a Harlequin's army. So that one's tough. You know what? I'll do that. I'll talk about that more today. I'm doing Jakari today, am I not?
I do not know, but I would believe you if you told me that.
Yes.
There you go. All right, so let's get Michael Black's question. Again, hero of the dynasty here. Next question: if you could add a unit to fill a specific role in Necrons, what would that unit do? Brad, I'll let you go first on this. I
I'm
have an
all in
idea
on
though.
this.
I have an idea.
I think that their characters, besides the Silent King, shouldn't be trash.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good way to fix the army would be to make their characters not trash.
Yeah, I mean they're HQs right now. You're like you put above. You have a guy carrying the veil,
Hmm.
and then you have a Chronomancer dropping a 5-up invul. Besides that, I just don't care. You know what I mean? With 90% of the game, Silent King, of course,
Yep.
is there, but I'm talking about everybody else except for the 450 point guy who he should do some stuff because he costs 450 points or 400. You know what I mean? So the I need characters to be more meaningful. Maybe even a combat character. Again, reading the fluff, man, those guys are just effectively casting spells with their technology, just doing
Yeah.
crazy stuff. And then you play them on the board, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, so like when you like read about Necron characters, because like shockingly enough, like I don't read as much 40k lore as I used to. I keep up to date with the Horus Heresy series, and like I don't read a lot of the like modern Imperial lore, but I read a couple of the Necron books because people were like raving about them. The new Necron novels are really good.
Yes.
Like they're really interesting. I'm like, huh. If Necrons were like a little more like this, I might actually play the army.
But if you put them on the board, you read the book and you're like, you get excited about Necrons and you're like, I'm going to play these. And then you put them on the board and you're like, oh, all of those things in the book are not even close to what's happening here.
Yeah. So I've got my own idea for Michael here about what unit I would add, because I'm not talking about how to fix the army by like making characters better. That's a lazy answer. It's we're adding a new unit here, Brad. So are you familiar with the Canoptic Acanthite from Forge World?
No.
All right. Well, you're gonna see it because I just replaced your face with it. So
I don't know how I feel about this.
no, it's fine. So this is the Canoptic Acanthite. It's like a little 3-man like idiot squad of Canoptic like wasps with guns. Anyways, they should make one of those big. Just I want a Canoptic structure. So like one of the roles that like Necrons is missing is like a vehicle that pretends to do close combat. Because like the Triarch Stalker is a dope looking model that is awkward to use on the table and terrible. And I would really like it if they had like something that was like a slightly larger Talos equivalent that was like a Canoptic unit. So give me like a full-size Canoptic Acanthite that like can move fast, flies, has combat, has some shooting, and like you know what? Honestly, give it a Gloom Prism. I don't care. Like I want Necrons to just have more units that fill a role because I'm tired of the 4th different data sheet that is 3 wound infantry with like combat and no guns moves a little faster than normal infantry. There are like 4 of those.
What? Just because they're the same unit, but they move 8, 10, or 12?
It's the same thing. Like, stop. Give me something new. Yeah, I just want to see. Like, I'm constantly shocked at how few shooting units Necrons have. And they're like, we have the most devastating ranged weapons ever conceived in the history of the universe. Like, observe my solar atomizer. It vivisects you in 0.1 microseconds. And all your friends watch and then explode. AP2 ignores invuln saves. Damage 1. I'm like, what?
They enslaved star gods.
Yeah,
but
enslaved star god.
They're really having a problem with making tech better than a bolter.
Yeah, seriously, like enslaved star god. On a 2-up you take immortal. On a 6 you take D3. Oh man, it was still 1. It's like, what is happening? Like, no, give me this canoptic, like, honestly, make it like a Chronos. Make make it like buff people around it. Give me like a flying monster that pretends to do combat and also has guns. Because there is not a single Necron unit outside the Silent King that has both a gun and a combat weapon. Like, how do they not have both? They have like 6 armed Canoptic units running around. None of them have a gun and a combat weapon. Just make it do both and fly and look badass, and I would buy 3 of them. Giant, and let me know what you think. Yeah, more heavy constructs is more better, 100%. I wish the heavy like a slightly
Take
smaller
away
heavy
random shooting on that. God, I hate D6 shots, D6 damage.
Brother. All right,
Boo.
rant over. Give me a Necron like Talos. Honestly, that's what I want. Just a big Canoptic like bruiser that can fly over a wall, eat your friends, and then heal a Necron. You can put guns on Wraiths, but you don't. But you don't.
But you don't.
Like, yeah, sure you can, but you don't. Yeah, you can like take a Catacomb Command Barge and give him like a Relic Scythe and this guy who like simultaneously like spanks 3 Chapter Masters, like is like 4 attacks, weapon skill 3, and you're just like, really? That guy? That's the guy that like beat Grimaldus into or Helbricht into a pulp?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Oh,
Put the
sorry. The
hearts on that.
CCB has poor guns and poor combat. Yeah, my bad. Big success. Great.
Great success.
All right. That's my rant. I think
Dom
before
did pop in with take away all nerfs, even Dark Tech for Chikari. I still don't think you want the Dark Tech Dementor buffs back.
not that. I think you could allow most other things back, but I would keep some of the points changes.
I'd like to see him slightly cheaper so you could bring more of the witch.
I would like
cult.
witch units to go down 1 point. But like
Yeah.
Incubi, I think Incubi are just fine where they're at. We don't need them getting cheaper. We do not need cheaper Drazar back in the meta.
Oh yes, we do.
No, we
Let
do
me
not.
spam. Make Incubi great again. Make Incubi troops.
And if Cult of Strife goes away, I could easily justify some cheaper Witch Cult units. But like I don't want Hellions going cheaper while like Cult of Strife is there, and you're just like, oh yeah, full blender mode. Like no thank you, please.
It's kind of full blender mode, but you have Armor and Contempt now. Dark Eldar got really hit by Armor and Contempt. 'Cause
Absolutely.
Most of their army is rocking AP1 with AP2 for Bleed Artisans.
Yeah.
Adam goes, the Wraith and Ravener comparison is depressing. Yeah, Wraiths are so good compared to Raveners, right? That's what you're saying?
God, I wish I was damage 2 with a 4-up invuln. Golly. Ignoring terrain, Wraiths are basically OP. I had such a sad moment where like I played against Necrons at Warzone round 1, and I like kind of the way he was positioning, like I was like, if I don't back up, he can charge my Flyrant with Wraiths. And I was like, and then I moved like an inch forward so his charge was easier and passed turn. And you know what happened? Not a single thing, Brad. Was I punched for my hubris? Absolutely not. I killed the Wraith squad in his turn.
I'm really worried about this in January, by the way, because I think that I'm going to segue into continuing the Necron thing.
Sure.
But when Necrons get their secondaries changed, I feel like that army might literally accidentally jump off a cliff.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that GW understand, because like I'm of the opinion that Necrons are broken. I don't know if GW shares that opinion, but if they do, I hope they really understand why. Because like genuinely, you could buff Necrons and nerf the secondaries, and I'd be super happy. Like Necron, like it balance is so skewed right now. It's like, secondaries best in the game, laughably so. Also, I'm obsec, damage output, kind of below average. Like if you're below average, like damage and a below average scoring army, like lol, LMAO, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just.
Congratulations,
The thing is, the army has busted secondaries. However, the army is ridiculously easy to kill and without an identity.
Yeah, so I would love it if they like nerfed the OBSEC dynasty, nerfed the secondaries, and then they gave them something else besides point drops. Because if they do all of that and they say, and Necron warriors are 1 point cheaper, I will buy so many lots off eBay for $20. Like, it's gonna be so bad if they do that. All right, Ear Elephant, what an amusing name, is here with a super chat. Thank you, Ear Elephant. We really, really appreciate your support. One, viability of 3 armored sentinels with plasma versus Lehman Russell plasma. Let's do that first. Since both of these questions are actually relevant, I'll let you know that if you're not in the war room, Brad and I have discussed both of these things.
I was saying both
of these questions to great detail in the war room. You can check that out in our Astra Militarum clinics. So make sure that you go to our website, theartofwar40k.com, and or go to theartofwar40k.com/learn more to get access to the war room and to get a sweet 50% off discount for your first month. That's with our coupon join our community, all one word, no caps, join our community. So make sure to check that out. But we're going to answer this question still. Do I think that's viable? 100% yes. I am a big fan of the Armored Sentinel. I think Armored Sentinels are fantastic. I think that they're just a big block of wounds that is annoying to deal with, and they're fast, and I just think they're great. I am a big fan of the Armored Sentinel. So yeah, 3 with all plasma, 100% support. All right, Brad agrees with me silently.
I'm just debating on a couple things. I'm still debating on the last Necron question. I'm thinking of a Brad unit. So,
well,
I never got off that one.
You're not off the hook yet. We'll get you at the end. Next up, though, from Ear Elephant is the second part of the question. Is a Lehman Russ playing aggro with 3 flamers and a gun they can shoot in combat worth a take? So I don't think you need to bother with the gun that can shoot in combat. I think it's okay to shoot out of combat. So Executioner Triple Heavy Flamer, that's my go-to. By the way, I think that's really what I want.
Really good.
The heavy flamers are
we talked
really
about
good.
This. I literally put this on the table, and it felt good.
Yeah, you got to see the before and after where I was like, we're like in our second guard clinic, because we've done 3 since the book came out. The second guard clinic, I was like, now hold on here with me, Brad. What if you put 3 heavy flamers on? And Brad's like, I don't know. I kind of like heavy bolters, but I'll try it. He had an open mind, and he didn't sound that grumbly. Yeah, he did. But then he comes back in the third clinic. He's like, John, I played a game with Triple Heavy Flamer Russ, and
yeah, I'm a believer now.
Yes. All right, Dan Syker, member for 1 month. Thank you so much. What new unit would you guys give the Custodes, and what cool rules would you give them? What would I give Custodes? That's a good question. I really want Custodes to like. Honestly, I want like Venatari to be a plastic kit with with more options.
Yeah, I was thinking about the fact that that's another unit army that in the fluff like has lots of teleport things and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would not mind seeing. I mean, really, like I don't. I mean, what you basically have Custody on a bike, Custody on foot, Custody on Terminator armor, and then like no variants of those, and that's what you have. I think the Golden Throne is a fortification. Fair enough.
Well then, that was some serious special rules.
Yeah, hey Brad, the Golden Throne's back, and we've reintroduced destroyer weapons. They ignore line of sight, and they don't need to hit. Good. All right, jokes aside, I think I would like to have a more combat-focused Venatar unit. I want an infantry combat unit that moves more than 6 inches a turn.
Yeah, they have real movement issues besides giant bikes. I'd like to see the Venatori for sure.
I actually don't even think they need that. If I was redoing the Custodes Codex, I think I would make Custodes like just move 8. Like, I'm sorry, a Custodian doesn't need to be the same speed as a Guardsman. He's a Custodian. He's allowed to do whatever he wants.
Adam's got it right. Custodes on a dinosaur.
Adam Lane coming in with his dinosaurs. Not that I'm mad about it. Like, Exodite Custodes would be pretty dope. And I'll also admit, Exodite Eldar would be like the one thing that would make me care about elves. Mainly because I want to have like a T-Rex like standing on a Torox that I paint the Jurassic Park logo on.
Holding a Bright Lance?
No, the Torox wouldn't be holding a Bright Lance. It would have like a autocannons, the way the Emperor intended.
The way the Emperor intended.
If I'm adding a new data sheet, I want a plastic Venatari kit with combat options. Because like I'm aware that Venatari can take a spear. The spear is terrible, and I want it to be better. I really like Custodes feel like they need more characters because you just have flag and captain. But the problem is that like because their data sheet count is so low, I would add both if I could. I would love to have a chaplain equivalent for Custodes, But the reality is that they need more units before I could consider that.
I really would like to see the more movement. To be honest, I like armies to have mobility. Period.
Genuinely make the army move 8 inches base. Just everyone's faster. Call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need as many. They just need more sheets. I don't like any army that doesn't have enough data sheets. You just need difference in there.
Yep.
So
Yeah, custodians need a couple new kits. I would love to see it. All right. Well, Mr. Bradley. Mr. Bradley, I have one final question for you off the wall before we wrap this one out.
hit me.
If you were a wrestler, what would your name be? Like a pro wrestler.
The Stallion.
Just the Stallion. Not Brad the Stallion. What about Brad
Nope.
the Stallion?
Just the Stallion.
Two E's and V. No? Okay.
Exclamation point.
See, like, there's no way I can like do one without like riffing off some like the great nicknames. I always liked the Minister of Offense.
The Minister of Offense.
Even though that does not reflect my personality remotely. George Bloater with Beefmaster. Michael Black with the Drunken Elbow.
Trash Panda.
Trash Panda strong. Oh, God.
I do like Trash Panda quite a bit.
It fits. It fits, Brad. The Trashed Panda. The Garbage Man. The Mighty Dwarf. Big Dwarf.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Entrance music.
But just Lil Teapot. Like, just Lil, Lil Teapot. Short and stout, Brad. You got this. All right. Well, I think that about wraps us up for the day. Brad, appreciate you being here with me as always. It's always a pleasure here. This is always a good time. And we appreciate everyone in the chat, especially Michael Black. You know why. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your support, everyone. It really is what helps us do this, what helps us hold this all together, helps us put all these streams on for you. If you want to show your support, well, best way to do it is always become a member of our channel. So you can do that just by clicking all the lovely buttons below since you're watching this on YouTube, or you can go to our website, theartofwar40k.com/learn-more, and that's where you can become a member of the War Room, get into our Discord, and even submit some of these questions for yourself. So make sure that you use that coupon code join our community for 50% off your first month in the War Room. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.